Bethany Manctalo here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me are some of the No One Likes Us Talking team. Hello, Ted Robinson.
Evening, Eamonn.
Hello, Dave Hart.
Good evening, Eamonn.
And hello, Andy Pettman.
Hello, Eamonn.
And what you're listening to is our Millwall fan show playoff special for the first leg.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Well, we want to be caring tomorrow evening, that's for sure. Millwall and Hull City are gearing up to face each other in the 2025-26 Sky Bet Championship playoff semi-finals. Millwall finished strongly in third place during the regular season, while Hull City clinched sixth place on an exciting final day. They did pop in and out of the top six. The semi-final will be played over two legs, with the overall winner moving on to compete at Wembley Stadium. If the scores are tied after both legs, the matches will proceed to extra time, if needed, penalties. Well, that's not bad if you're at home and you're getting penalties and bits and pieces like that, is it, I suppose? Fans can catch all the action live on Sky Sports in the UK. Interestingly, in the regular season, both teams secured 3-1 victories on the road. The stakes are high. Whoever wins will go on to face either Southampton, who finished fourth, or Middlesbrough, who finished fifth, in the playoff final on Saturday, May the 23rd of this year, with a shot at a place in the Premier League and big bucks falling all over you. Well, I'm going to ask a question now, and the first one up is to you, Ted. How are your confidence levels for the playoffs?
Well, I mean, look, we finished third in the league, Eamonn, so by the nature of the whole business throughout the season, we've been the third best team in that division. So, yes, that should probably make us favourites, but as we all know, when you get into the playoffs, it's a little bit of a lottery, and I'm always wary of the side that gets into the playoffs, a bit like Hull City did, where most of the lay was out of it, and then they finally nicked it. It's a sort of sense of relief and a bit of motivation on their side that they've come in at the last knockings, if you like. So, and bearing in mind the two games we've had against Hull, they were both, entertaining games that really could have gone either way on both games. But we've got to be confident because of the way that our boys are playing, and I think a lot will depend for us on Josh Coburn coming back. Hopefully he's fit and he can lead the line, certainly up at their place. But, the way that we've been playing lately, I mean, Hull will be on a high because that was their first win after about 3 or 4 games, I think, which obviously helps them to have a win going into this. And like I say, they will be saying to themselves, we got a free shot at this. We didn't expect ourselves to get into the playoffs at most of the time on Saturday, but we finally got there. So, let's just have a go at it. And they're not going to be scared of us like we're not going to be scared of them. So it is pretty much a 50-50 game, I believe, us and Hull. But we are good enough. We're good enough, as I've said all season, to beat anybody in this division. But obviously these are the next two games are the most important ones we would have played all season before, hopefully, which will be ultimately the most important game of the season. But if we turn up like we have been turning up at recently when we've been away from home, I've got no problems with the game. I believe we genuinely can come back from Hull City with, let's put it this way, it'll all be in our hands, whatever happens. And I'm sure we can get a result at Hull.
Yeah, it'd be nice to do that to start off with and then take them to the den. Dave, what about your confidence levels for the playoffs?
I'm confident in the games. I'm unduly worried because, as Ted said, this part is a lottery. Ideally, if you finish sixth, you've got nothing to lose, and they finished sixth on the day, so their sales will be up about that. But we finished in third and could have gone automatic, but we just let a few things slip up. Different bits and pieces affected that, which are out of our control, but there you go. You can't go on about that at length. But overall, I'd say that what Ted has said is spot on. Hull are the team that sneaked in at the last minute, and all the teams in the top in the playoffs, we've had results against and we've lost games against. So it's one of those things that is completely out of our control. It's who turns up on the day, and I think if Millwall come with their A game, we should be fine.
Okay, Dave. Andy, what do you think, confidence-wise?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I've still got in the back of my head, though, that we've never won a championship playoff game, and still scarred by the previous 3 attempts over the years. But it's been a long time, hasn't it, since then? And since then, we've gone and we've seen us win playoffs at Wembley in League One. But, yeah, as the guys were saying, Hull, they're very similar to us, I think, as a team. When I've seen them play, they're very, very much like us on the counter-attack, like to absorb the pressure and hit us, as we saw at the Den. But I think on the day, we're hoping we're going to be the better team. I think we are the better team out of that. But, yeah, going in and then obviously worried if we do get past that point about the final.
Yeah, if we can get past the 2 legs, we're into the final. And that would be exceedingly good. My concerns really are about who we're going to have up front, but and that's what's buckling my confidence. I know we done well against Oxford, who are a relegated side, but hey-ho, they were a relegated side, and we were lucky that Mr. Aziz could escape his jailers and get a couple of goals. I would really like to see Coburn back for this, and fingers crossed that is what will happen. Anyhow, Ted, which of all the playoff teams has the greatest strength in depth, I think, is a good point. What do you reckon?
Well, I think strength in depth-wise, it's amazing. Like, we're talking about Josh Coburn, and I get it. But we're looking to say if we're not quite the same team without him. So the other 3 sides are in exactly the same boat. They've got players missing. I mean, Middlesbrough are the one that springs to my mind with Hayden Hackney, who's obviously an absolute class act. And I think him not being part of the Middlesbrough side in the running is part of the reason why they failed a bit miserably in a few games coming up towards the end of the season. He makes such a big difference. Now,
and Whittaker too, Ted. Whittaker as well.
Whittaker as well. I mean, Whittaker's the sort of player that he's a bit of he's Middlesbrough Femi Aziz, really, because we all know what Femi can do, and sometimes Femi does it, sometimes he doesn't. But the thing with Femi this season, he's done it a few more times or more often than not. Whittaker came back into the side and scored a fabulous goal for him the other day, and all of a sudden they was on the road to a victory, which they hadn't had for a while. But as I say, you can go through all of them. But obviously the team, I believe that everybody will probably think and have them down as favourites in their mind is Southampton, purely because of the momentum that they've got and they've taken into this to the last part of the season. The only defeat they've had is that one which was against Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final, where they could quite easily have nicked the game. So I think if you're looking at strength in depth, you have to look at also what teams got momentum with them. And I genuinely think out of the 4 of them, it's probably us and Southampton. Southampton, I would say, would be a lot of people's favourites for automatic, by the nature of the size of the club and that they've been there before and all that sort of stuff. And that's the one thing that we haven't got. But one thing we do have over, if you talk about the strength of things. What we have got over the rest of them, we've got a manager that's been there and done it.
That's right.
Which, again, plays such a massive point in these sort of games where they're so. I mean, all the other guys are all foreign guys that probably haven't had a clue about what goes on in these playoff games. But, every manager knows his job. They know how important it is. But I think the experience of having been there, done it, and got through it before can be invaluable at this sort of time. And the one thing I do know, whatever happens tomorrow night, Alex Neil will have us all geared up and ready to go on Monday night because he knows how to get through these sort of things. But yeah, I think strength in depth, like I say, and I think the side with all the momentum has got to be Southampton. Plus they have got quite a bit of strength in depth and a few players coming back. Middlesbrough, I think, could cause some problems, and if Hayden Hackney comes back into the scene, you don't know how fit he is, but last few games this season, they're going to probably throw him in and just say, give it a go. Could make a big difference in that type, but I would say Southampton, strength in depth wise, are probably the strongest, but I'm not ruling us out in that sense because I do believe we've got a very, very strong squad, and thankfully, as normally happens at this time of the season, the most important games, everyone seems to be coming back fit and they all want to play. So
They do. And thanks for highlighting those issues to our listeners. Dave, is it you in the same boat as Ted on that one?
Yeah, Ted summed it up perfectly, really. Is what he said. The four teams have all got strengths. They've also got weaknesses. They're both on runs to a certain extent. Southampton have probably got to be the people's favourite. I mean, they've 19 unbeaten in the league, I think it is. 14 wins, 5 draws. That means there's quite a big statement there. But I think that Middlesbrough have been on a blip. They've come back and now are beginning to play their style of football.
Yeah.
And I'll keep your eyes on that Southampton with those two. It might not be the favourite that's going to go through to Wembley out of those two. So just keep your eyes on it.
Yeah, it could be an interesting game, that one, with Middlesbrough and Southampton facing off. Andy, have you got anything to add or subtract from what you heard?
Well, I agree with Ted and Dave. Southampton are the favourites, aren't they? They're the ones everyone fears. And, that run they've had since January has been amazing. And, that includes beating Fulham and Arsenal, doesn't it, along the way? But I think we have got a really good strength in depth for the playoffs in the fact that, obviously, we said Alex Neil, who's been there, done it twice. That was Sunderland and Norwich.
Yeah.
But you go for our squad, and a lot of that team has got playoff experience.
Yeah.
Bannon's won it he was even there for Blackpool in 2010.
Yeah.
He's done it a few times League One, I think, with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Cooper's done it with us. Watson and Patterson last year for Sunderland. Doughty for Luton. Leonard for Southend in League Two. And Joe Bryan scored winning goals. It was in COVID, so he had an empty Wembley. But he scored the winning goal, didn't he, in that playoff final? So we've got a squad that's been there, which I don't know how the other teams are for that kind of depth of actually players who've gone through the experience.
Yeah, I've looked at it in that way, to be honest with you.
I think that hopefully should count for a lot. And even we've all been through it, haven't we? We've seen defeats and wins there.
Yes. It's, home and away. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's that's a good point. Well made, that, really. And something worth looking at. I suppose when we move from looking at specifically, we've started to touch upon, Ted, who we might expect to come through, the Southampton versus Middlesbrough. And you were a bit undecided in that because you thought perhaps, it could go either way. Reflecting on that a little bit more, what do you think?
As Andy just said about Southampton will probably be most people's favourites. But the thing with Middlesbrough is what really has been their Achilles heel is they haven't scored a lot of goals, or they didn't they struggled to score goals for quite a bit towards the end of the season there, until, like you quite rightly pointed out, Morgan Whittaker came back, and but he don't tend to score. He tends to score the spectacular ones, and not sort of. They don't seem to have anybody in their team that will knock a goal in from inside the box, if you know what I mean. They don't seem to have that. That's why, obviously, in that game, I would err on the side of Southampton. But I say that the dark part of it is Hayden Hackney, whether he can play any part for Middlesbrough, because he's such a quality player that he creates better chances, or they create better chances when he's in the side, and he's not, he will score a goal for you from time to time as well. So, I mean, it'd be a big ask, because he's been off for quite a few games, about a month or two, I think, to come back and be at top, playing at the top of his game. But I would, out of them two sides, I think the safest bet would be Southampton. But in the same breath, I know it sounds like I'm sitting on the fence a little bit. I wouldn't write Middlesbrough off, because they are capable. Certainly with Morgan Whittaker in the side, anything's capable, anything could happen. But I think for the sort of consistent side, you got to go with Southampton. They're on a 19-game unbeaten run, isn't it? I think something like that. So if I was a betting man, it would be on Southampton in that game. Yeah,
I think if you was a betting man, you'd realise that the odds are heavily weighted on Southampton.
If we was lucky enough to get through, Eamonn, to me, the game that would suit us down at the ground would be Southampton, because I'm pretty sure everybody would make them favourites at Wembley.
Yes.
And I think that would suit us. You know what we're like when we're down as being the underdogs. It's when we all come together, and we love all that, don't we? So I think an ideal scenario, if we get through, would be Southampton. Even though they've just been to Wembley and experienced it. But I just think that would be probably a better option to us than Middlesbrough if we was to get through.
Yeah. Well, to get through the game against Hull, you was talking about odds. We're 5-4, Hull are 19-10, and the draw is 23-10. So we're clearly the favourites in going into this two-legged game. But over to you now, Dave. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Ted. On paper, Southampton would look the one, but there's too many coincidences that are springing into my things that have happened in the past. I mean, Middlesbrough, I think they could really edge it against Southampton, and if they got to Wembley, and we've got there as well, you've got to look at the things of Alex Neil and Josh Coburn. Josh Coburn scoring the winner against Middlesbrough, got on the card. When Alex Neil took Norwich up to the Premiership, the team they beat was Middlesbrough. There's so many coincidences that you can peg to it. So it's a lottery. But back to that word. I'll say that probably Southampton would be the ideal partner for us at Wembley, provided we get there.
Provided we get there. What do you reckon then, Andy? Southampton, Middlesbrough game? Who do you think or expect to come through?
I think you can't look past Southampton over 180 minutes, can you, over the two games? I'd fancy them in a one-off 90 minutes. Anything can happen, but I think the odds with the two, just with the current form Southampton are on, and they do look unbeatable.
We must never say that.
I will
anyway.
I will add, Eamonn. Sorry, I genuinely believe Middlesbrough have played some of the best football I've seen this season. Yeah. It's just they don't seem to have the killer instinct that I think all as much as the other three sides that are in it. Hull can score goals. We know we can. And obviously Southampton, I think if you look at it out of all of them, Middlesbrough are the ones that have struggled a little bit on that side of things. But the football they've played and they've been playing, they're a good side. They're a good side. But I just think, Southampton, like Andy just said, over the 2 legs, I think may have just a bit too much for them.
Okay. Ted, stick with you. What or who do we have to fear about playing Hull City, home and away?
I don't think we actually have to fear anything. I think I've listened to a little bit of Alex Neil this week, and he, as usual, keeps his feet on the ground and more or less sort of quietly talks you into believing that we've got everything under control. We all know that, like I say, when Hull came down to the Den, they did show us how to play a little bit, to be quite honest. And I know we had the unfortunate referee that's going to referee us again on Friday night, who sent Aziz off in that game. But, I think Alex Neil, throughout this season, has shown me, or him and his coaching staff, tactically, they're very good. They know what we need to do. They know what, whoever we're playing against, we can set ourselves out to beat that side. My only fear, and it's not about Hull, because I say I don't really fear Hull, I don't really fear any of them. My only fear is that on a couple of occasions this season, Millwall have failed to turn up. And when we've been bad, we tended to be very bad, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The defeats at Birmingham sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
That's the only game.
Well, the defeat to Hull at home wasn't that?
At Hull at home, yeah. Again, there was circumstances with that, but there was another one, Wrexham, when at home we didn't play particularly well.
Yeah.
But the game against Birmingham, we was just all over the place, and I had no idea why that happened, but it has done a couple of times this season. And all I'm hoping is that come Friday and Monday, we don't have a performance in us like that one. I don't think we will. I'm quietly confident we don't, but that's the little fear in the back of my mind that for some reason we don't turn up in one of these games. And at this level, if you don't turn up, you're going to get punished badly. But I don't fear Hull. I don't think they've got, they are a good side, as all championship sides are, but then so are we. And I think if we can play to our ability, like we have done for most of this season, we're more than capable to go there and win, and also win at home. And obviously, the home leg being the second leg is a great one. But I was there with Birmingham when we drew at Birmingham, and then we came back, and everyone expected it to happen, and it didn't. So there's no gimmies, we know that. But I say, if we keep playing the way that we've been playing most of this season, we've got every right to feel that we could win every game we have to get ourselves into the Premier League.
Yeah, interesting. Dave, anything to add to that?
Yeah, Ted's got it spot on. I think Hull, they've got a prolific scoring front line with Ollie McBurney and Matt Crooks.
Yeah.
They've got a very creative midfield. The centre of it is Joe Gelhardt. But their defence isn't exactly as good as their front line. So they can concede goals and have done on occasions. And we've exposed them. Also, our away form is better than our home form. So that is going to figure, I think, provided we turn up, as Ted said. So, this game is these two games, 2 legs are very winnable for us. So I think that you can look at probably a draw and a win, or maybe even 2 wins. But that's just me being overconfident. I don't know, but it just looks that way to me.
Okay. Andy, anything different to what you've heard?
No, agree with both of them. I think that, as I said earlier, they remind me of us when I've seen them. They're just very, very good on the break, Hull. And with McBurney, he's got 17 goals in 37 games. We could do with a striker like that. But when we lost at the Den earlier in the season, we had a central midfield of Alfie Doughty and Reece Bangle-Williams patched up side. Right. We had the Aziz sending off. And even in that game, we looked like the game was turning after Amaku came on and scored. And then we had the sending off.
Yeah.
It looked like the game was starting to turn. But I thought we were quite lucky up at Hull when we beat them as well. We sort of hit them in Millwall style on the counter to get the goals. So this one really could go either way, couldn't it? But I don't know. I just got faith in Alex Neil for this, having the team prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Tom Wilson goes against your view, the old Millwall player. He was up there and at Hull, as he doesn't live too far away. And Sean Daly presented him with his Forever Lions Club material, tie and certificate. And after the game, Tom said, we were head and shoulders above the whole side that we played that day. And he played for them as well. So still nice to know where his heart really lies. I'm not going to go on to talk about Alex Neil. I think we spoke about his abilities and his skills to quite some degree. But what I'd like to get is your score prediction. So I'm going to start with you, Andy, this time and go in reverse order. What would your score prediction be in this away leg?
I think we're going to win 2-1 up there. I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I think we'll get the goals. Well, if Coburn starts, I'm going for the 2-1.
2-1 if Coburn starts. By the way, I didn't tell you, but Ted's going to issue a special prize over these two legs to the ones that get the results right. He hasn't told me what it is because he hasn't even told us what the prize was for the season's prediction league. But I suppose we might find out eventually. How about you, Dave? What do you think?
Yeah, Andy's nicked my score. I was going to go with a 2-1 away win, but I'm going to edge it and go 1-1.
A pair of onesies. Okay. Sounds good. And of course, how about you, Ted?
Well, the one thing we haven't mentioned is the state of Hull's pitch, because that's a pretty poor pitch.
Oh, yes, it has the rugby on it.
The rugby's done its job on the pitch, and I'm not sure that's going to help either side tomorrow night, which, to use Dave's favourite word, makes it even more of a lottery, to be quite honest. But I generally am confident in us. I think we'll be strong enough tomorrow night to, and Andy pinched my scoreline as well. I've had that in my head all week that we're going to hopefully go up there and come back with a 2-1 win.
Well, that's fair enough. Doesn't mean that you can't have a 2-1 win. But it sounds like you all could have had a 2-1 win, which is good. But strangely enough, I'm not going to go for any of that. I'm going to go for us to win by 1-0. I have great belief in Patterson, and I think he is going to be at his best, because this guy will want to move on from where he's at the moment. Hopefully it's to us, but he sees himself on the showcase. So I lay all my belief in Pato for what's going to happen. So for the first leg of Middlesbrough, Southampton, from your end this time, Ted?
They are a good side, Middlesbrough, and I think they'll be sort of up for this game. But I still see Southampton getting some sort of result. So I think I'm going to have to sit on the fence with this one, because I don't think there's a lot between the two sides. But I think Southampton will get some sort of result. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw for this one.
Okay. How about you, Dave?
Yeah, that's my score. I think Middlesbrough at home, they'll score at least one goal, and Southampton will also reply. So it's got to be a 1-1.
Okay. And anything different from you, Andy?
I was thinking a draw as well. I'm hoping for, after the pressure of Friday, a kind of more entertaining, don't care so much, 2-2 draw, I think, to see.
2-2 the Lily White Boys. Well, there you go. That might give a bit more away about what we might look forward to should we get to the final. I reckon that Middlesbrough are actually going to win at home, and I think they'll win by 2-0. That's a daring bet, isn't it?
There's a bold statement there.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? 2-0 to the Borough. Thanks so much for those predictions. We will evaluate the scores on the Sunday evening when we are back again, although be it, we lose you, Andy, on Sunday evening, and somebody else steps in as a substitute for you. So don't forget, tune in to the No One Likes Us team for reports from our games, home and away for the Lions, Lionesses, Romans and Pride. Also receive updates on Mill community topics from us and through Maritime Radio. And on this Saturday, the Rock and Gold show will feature Gary Staff's report from the game, and it'll also feature Stuart Nethercott, Terry Brisley and Naomi Cole, who were the recipients last weekend of the Forever Lions Club Awards. Don't forget Maritime Radio on 96.5 FM, DAB or via their website. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, formerly Twitter, YouTube, Spreaker, Maritime Radio Podcasts and all major podcast platforms. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Eamonn.
And thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Eamonn.
And thank you, Ted.
Cheers, Eamonn.
And a big thanks to all of you for tuning in and roar our Lions on this Friday evening. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Bye for now.
Yes, sir. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. Let them come, let them come, let them come. We'll only have to beat them again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we're called Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. It's Saturday in Cold Blow Lane. We've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine, our families will bring. And as the Lions run on the pitch, everyone will sing. Let them come, let them come.